Hey, thanks for tuning in to Thursday's development stream. This session is sponsored by Esteemed, where I'll be working on PHPStan for some PHP 8 compatibility issues. Esteemed is an AI-powered talent management and career solutions provider for digital professionals. If you're looking for a contract or full-time gig, you can check out their job board at esteemed.io/jobs. In addition to being a great source for jobs, they also have a strong community and network of developers. If you haven't checked out Esteemed at one of their lunch and learns or a Drupal camp or other conference, you can check them out with the link I'll put in the chat to join their Slack channel. The website is esteem.io, and the community is they have a Slack channel and other communication forums where you can network with some other developers. All right, so we'll get kicked off. I did a quick refresher from last week because it feels like this was 2 weeks ago, the last time I worked on it. Detecting static calls to non-static methods. So in PHP 7, if you called a instance method statically, like instance where it's like public function blah, which requires a class to be instantiated, it just threw a warning but still called it anyways, and would maybe fatal error if it had code that would cause it to fatally error. Which is actually a pretty big common problem in a lot of Drupal code with form API and render API callbacks. So this adds a rule to check that non-static method calls are called directly. And I need to read the review, like having an and at the beginning of the lines, more like here. All right, so I will flip that around. And do not modify the existing tests. If they started failing and you think that's for a good reason, always adjust the assertions not to test data. You want to test add new tests. Okay, so I need to revise. I need to basically revert some of my changes to the tests and get things cleaned up. So let's go here and we'll do this code fix. Double tap search or shift to get to the code. And that was line 393. Well, this doesn't, wait, constant array type 394. Oh, I'm on the wrong branch. Non-static code locally. Here we go. All right, so if not, so it will look more like this. All right. Actually, I think I do like that better as well because it keeps it all lined up fairly decently. I will steal that. Thanks. I agree. I will definitely be stealing this approach. I just want to comment. Let's see. I don't want to start a review. I just want to comment it directly. There we go. So that's that one change here, which if we run the test, data callables, let's see, where was this being referenced? In callable rules test, was it here? Test bug, let's see, 1719. Please do not modify existing test. So we'll go ahead and run that now. Oh, man, where? Data callables. Let's see. I want to make sure callables rule test, call callable rules test. Yep, that's the same thing. And legacy node scope resolver test. Was it in here? Well, it's one of these two. So I need to go and revert my changes. So line 15 should be do foo and do bar. We should remove static. Same with do baz. Oh, I added do bar. Never mind. Oh, wait, no. added one of these. I think it must have been I added do. It must have been this Baz that I added. Test completed. And then also this file here, let's revert the change to this public function. And also find out what's calling this test case. This analyze call static method rule. Run it. Excuse me. Static method. Let's see. Static method say hello. Function say hello. So let's see. I want to take a master branch and show diff with working tree. Okay, so great. So this diff shows that it's the changes. There's no test changes. And if I were to go back to here and we did against the master branch and show diff with working tree, we see the test. Okay, so the tests are back to the original state. Let's run this here. Rerun this test and let's get the error messages added. So we've got line on 14. Let's duplicate it. That didn't duplicate it correctly. So we got one on line 14 and it had the text. We need escape. Single quotes. So parameter 1, let's read the test. So parameter 1, callback of static method from callable, expects callable, mixed, array bug, say hello given. All right, that makes sense because it's not static. And say hello 2 doesn't exist. Class string, static, hello world. Okay, so I guess these errors do make sense. So we'll update the assertions because it's warning that it's not a callable. That's the big problem. That's the big thing we're reporting is basically it's reported as not callable. It's not warning you that it's an instance method and you're calling it statically, which I would prefer. It's just saying that it's not does not exist. I honestly would prefer if it said, "Hey, you're trying to call a static method, an instance method statically, but we're not. I don't believe we're going to get that benefit." Let's see. Think. Why is this not escaping correctly? Class string static. Why is this? Okay, I'm going to copy this string. No, I don't want to copy the entire string. I'm trying to make sense of it. So say hello to. Oh, because it says self and not static. Okay. That's why it's saying the class string static. So I can copy this here. Why is there a... So I can copy this and just change it to say... yeah, so copy this entire bit and drop the 2. All right. And I feel like, okay, what is... excuse me. Please do not modify existing tests. If they start failing, and if you think that's a good reason, always adjust the assertions not to test data. If you want to add something new, add new tests. So I should add a new test for this. It's just, to me, that feels wrong. Because the tests were broken to begin with. And we need to assert that the code still works. But I am going to assertions. We need to prove that this closure from callable works, because this was fixing a bug. So if we go to github.com, PHPStan, issue, what was it? 1971. That's not what I want. Static class method is not considered a valid callable. So yeah, like we want this to be returned. So I guess I'll have to just make a new one, a new test. So 727. Covariant 3.2. I'm just gonna modify this. And we verify that it does work. And I'll make a message that says, hey, I just want to verify that the original 727, and we should only have the one error on line 19. So let's run this. That passed. And run 727. That errored. Oh, wait a second. Callback of static method. Public static method. Oh. Let's do 727. Wait, why is this now broken? Self class say hello. I know why. Bug 727. No. There we go. Bug 727 say hello. So we did break. Okay, so there is something broken. So parameter 1 of static callback method from callable expects callable mixed say hello world given, and that was on line 14. So self is broken. So 15 passed, but when we're on self, it's not working for some reason. So we need to figure out why. So luckily we have one test. I guess this is a good reason that I don't modify just the assertions. So let's go to bug 727. And we should get, this should pass now. So we need to figure out why that's broken. And that's going to be this constant array type. And let's do debug. All right, so is class string is false. So class or object. Oh, we didn't get to that part yet. So is class string reflection provider. Oh. Create unknown. Well, that's why it's failing. Wait. Class or object get value. Value is bug 727 hello world. It is a class string. Constant array type and method create unknown. Type and method is null, null, null. Callable type, key types, constant string is class string method. All right, maybe we'll get into here. Maybe this will. Nope. If it is unknown, the parameters are 0. Excuse me. Call type, closure type. So I guess that's a problem, is that, man, this just blew it up even more. It's not even getting, it's not considered a actual class by the reflection provider. And that's not good. And that's why it's failing the way it is. So let's do another debug and okay. So it is a class string. Reflection provider. Great. We've got the reflection provider, the memoizing reflection provider, and the value. This value is bug727 hello world. This has classes 2. It's already false. Oh, man. All right, let's drop a lower class name is equals to there. Let's rerun it. All right, so this has classes is now 0. Let's go figure out why it can't load the class for each provider. It's probably because it's not auto-loaded. Man, that may like. All right, provider. This has class. It's not stubbed. Pattern. Oop. So has false. The reflection provider. This reflection provider is runtime. So it doesn't have it. Next provider is better reflection. Continue. False. So that's one problem, is it's not loading the class, so we can't actually process it, and that's not good. So how can anything else work if that's not the case? What if we did a, I don't know, I'm just going to test something here. If we require it, that means it's in scope. This provider has class. So if it's not a PHP Storm stubber, and this patterns, it's not in these patterns. So let's go up. Reflection provider has class. Is valid class name. So the class name we trim. Excuse me. Autoloader register. Autoloader. Class exists, so then it tries to load it via the autoloader. And finally, we step over. Has is true. All right, we have it. Class reflection. Now we have the class reflection. All right, let's skip over. We should be good now. Okay, we have the class. Let's skip. So now, okay, so type is object type has. Let's click play. The test passed. All right, so now what we should do is run this. Oh, let's go back. Oh yeah, so okay, if we uncomment that, it fails. And when I comment, okay, so I'm going to put it in a comment that says, so that way I can see how he would like me to handle this. Fails to find class and reflection since it has not been discovered, which prevents discovering the method properly. Only fix was to run a require on the file. And I want to see if this is done anywhere else, because that means I feel like there's lots of bugs that could be possible. And we'll do the same trick up here, and we should lose one error. So if we do require, I'm going to copy the same comment. Oh. All right, so this was the same error. Oh yeah, because they're all technically not callable. Let's see. Always was. No, don't. Just paste it and don't import. All right, I think that will do it. Call stack methods rule. Bug 529. I added that in here. What is this? Bug 529. One second. I got to figure out what this is from and why I had it. Oh, you know what? I think that's because of the other issue I was working on. So what is it? Issues. False positive. Why do I have this in my code? All right. The 529. All right. So this updated the assertions, and this tries to prove that it works as expected as a replacement to there. What else did I need to fix? So I reverted here, and so it was like, what was it? Test call callables. Call rule test. I think this was it. For pass, test ignored. Did it revert? Yeah. Data callables. Line 15. No, this is rules functions. Analyzer. There it is. Jeez. So rules, test, analyzer data. Callables. What test was failing then? Should be able to see by looking at the commits. See. 8.1 failures, that's expected. Oh, legacy data, that's it. Legacy data nodes resolver test. So this should be failing then, because I reverted my test changes. All right. So failed asserting. Those should all be mixed because it's not discoverable. Correct. So callables. Do foo. Yeah, so string with method. Do foo is a not static method. Array with instance method. Do bar is also not a. So it's mixed because they cannot be found. Closure object is mixed because they can't be found. And I guess we'll just push it and see the next steps are. Expected callables bar, actual errors. Bar, do bar, yeah, okay. That's callables. So this is an error here. Hello, hello. So that's a mixed error. Array with static method. Array with static method. Do bar because do bar is a not a static method. And test data set 4. Oh shoot. Test callables 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not, that can't be right. I guess it is. So array append and for each. Test callables, data key and arrange. That's not it. Test callables, data callables. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so this one is a float array with instance method. Array with instance. Okay, that is correct. So now everything should be green. Oh, all right. So call statics method rule. Just copy that. That fixed. Okay, let's review the changes. That fixed the formatting per request. The data, this puts back the changes I made. This updates the test for what the new results are. This adds a new test for this PR to not adjust the existing test cases. And this updates the static method rules. Revert test data changes. Add new test data. Adds a new test case with static methods for PR 727, matching test data for issue 1971. I'll push that. And we'll see where it gets us. 6 errors and 2 warnings. It's all in the test data, legacy node. 2 could be used. Push anyway. Let's push it, and time to comment on the pull request. Let's see. So outdated, reply, resolve. Let's go to this. Okay. This was interesting. The self class was failing since the class could not be autoloaded and the constant array type was always returning. What was it? Constant array type. Oh. I find my code. There we go. It's always returning constant array type and method create unknown. Running a require allowed the reflection provider to discover the class and report the expected errors. Let's see, start a review. Let's get all my comments out. This handles did not update the test data, but cover the fact these instance methods called statically do not exist. There we go. Where's the test data I added? Is there a way to add like I wish there was a way to like add a comment for a file. I know Bitbucket has that, or did, or you could just comment on the entire file and not like a specific part. This is a copy of bug, was it 1971? Is that what? Or test data changes 1971 with fixes to prove that the correct method is discoverable. All right. These callables are calling on static methods. Should I add more test data, or is this good enough? All right, let's submit the review. And I'm actually kind of concerned about the fact that the legacy test has error. I guess there's a handful of times it's there. That I'm not going to worry about it too much. All right, we'll re-request the review. And hope legacy node scope resolver test. I'm just curious, that was line 8239. This is a big file, and I'm sure there's some way to actually get to the 8239. There we go. Data callables. Test callables. So this assert types description. This assert types. Why would it throw an error? Or what causes it to? Let's get type, describe type. All right, return. Oh, error type. Okay, so there's an error type. Let's leave it at that. So that is that issue. I'm gonna leave it open so we can verify that the tests pass, which they're getting close to doing. I want to see if the head is passing yet on PHP 8. So it is. So I should probably rebase against the master branch if this fails. So let's go ahead and pick the next thing. Do I have any other open pull requests? Just that one. All right, what was I working on before? Branch. Trait abstract signature methods. What was that about? Let's see. Issues. All right. Excuse me. Oh, I should. Let's see the file. Shoot, should probably rename the file to be the issue number from issue versus this PR number. Or is it okay? So that's one thing I realized. I forgot there was a matching issue and I picked the wrong ID. Before I go change it, I'll just get the feedback. All right, so we're back to the main meta method. The signature of abstract methods defined in traits is now checked against the implementing class method. I feel like I started to look at this and it was going to be near impossible. Needs handling the overriding method rule. That's right. Because it does not show. All right, I made a commit. So let's go look at that. Check out. Let's go to 9. Trait. I should have committed. I did not. Man. I did not commit anything. Shoot. All right. I know it was near impossible because it only if once the reflection only tells us that needed by trait comes here, and it's just about impossible to find out what trait defined it. And it was just issues all the way down because traits are handled like classes, but they're not actually classes. And it was just a whole nightmare of a mess. So I'm going to skip that. Show latest result. Oh, wait, what? Method my class needed by trait is unused. Okay. Fair enough. Excuse me. Magic methods will now have their arguments and return types. That I remember we talked about is kind of frivolous. So let's look at his items. And also what's going on here. Oh, sweet. It's all passing, even on 8.1. Awesome. All right. So this just became so let's look through all of these. and decide what's next. All right, so CallUserFunc is the name parameters. It can be very useful, coupled of rules to actually check. Can break because of name parameters. It can be very useful, couple of rules to actually check CallUserFunc and FuncUserArray, whether they call functions correctly. So I think that is something that I discovered before when diving into this with the callbacks, is I thought we'd have to look at CallUserFunc and FuncArray, and we don't actually have rules there. So maybe that'll be the next rule, is to inspect CallUserFuncArray. Is if I look at the tests, there's only one instance, callable or closure problem. And what this would be the best for Drupal in the long run, because Drupal uses this a lot. All right, so there is a require once in here. So maybe that is what I need to do. And I don't know what this was trying to fix. It's from 18. Test. Callable is callable, else if is callable. It's array. All right. Well, I guess we need a rule that inspects. Excuse me. We need to make a rule that inspects the call to func array. That just seems so hard. So let's look at call to func array can break because of name parameters. Uncut array merge does not accept unknown name parameters. Right, foo. Okay, because it's saying foo is an array, but merge doesn't accept unknown name parameters. So let's create a new issue. So this makes sense. So whenever we hit CallUserFuncArray, we need to inspect the array passed and and inspect the values. So let's call this split from this. PHPStan always makes me happy, but today I'm going to leave that empty. Example. And I always like to copy the code output because I don't always want to click on a link. I want to be able to just read it. Interesting. So in PHP 7, it strips out any of the keys and does like an array values on it. But in PHP 8, it uses the keys as the named parameters. General would be great to have rules which inspect we need rules for func and the functions methods they call. So let's format this real quick. Submit the new issue. And I probably should post this on... Whoa, that's not what I wanted. I have a feeling that the bot is going to yell at me for not pasting a link to the playground. So let's do that. Hold on. Wait a second. Parameter 2 of args from CallUserFunc array expects array int or array string of array string int. Oh wait, hold on, brain. So the error in PHP 7 makes sense because it's expected to be an array of int and mixed, but we were given an associative array. So this is a regular array with integer keys. Excuse me. And the method match in PHP 8 is actually wrong. So let's copy and let's edit. Playground example. PHPStan actually reports the array with named arguments as invalid. All right, so we got two issues here. Let's edit. So what is it? Fix parameter, fix signature for CallUserFunc array to allow, what is this? Array string blah. Inspect the called function method to verify its signature against provided args to provided args. I think that makes sense. So actually this turns out to be a pretty interesting one. So let's get started on it. All right, so I rebase off of master. Let's do get new branch 5934 and try to figure out. So where parameter number 2 of args, let's see if I can find anything like this here. Project, nope. Random int parameter rules, except type 7 levels data, no. Parameter number, assert same, result cache end to end, incompatible default parameter type rule, default value somewhere. This is tested. Oh man, callable rule test. It's showing up in all the test stuff. So let's just, instead of doing the dialogue, let's actually push this up. And string constants. Let's see what's going on. Excuse me. I just got over like a head and sinus cold, and now that it's finally 30 degrees Fahrenheit here, everything is just being stupid all over again for me. Call callables. Call the function parameter rules. All right. Let's do this. This seems reasonable. Call the function with incorrect parameters rules. But it's different in PHP 8. And, here we go. Call to weird functions. I like that. Call to weird. Oh, those are really weird. Let's see. I guess we just will make the same thing, but in data we'll say, let's do new file, bug, I feel like that defines like its own name, not just bug, because it's call to function closure, function with null. Let's just do CallUserFunc array. .php. And we'll copy this line here. Array merge foobar would make sense here. Use array values for unpacking associative arrays. Well, that's great, but all right. So let's just go down the bottom here and test call user func. My gosh, I've been on the phone all day and I cannot type right now. So actually this is yeah, we have two different errors that are needed. If it's 7.4, we expect this because it's not supported. Oh, do I got to do the whole? I do. Do the whole wrap it in an array. Which it's line 3. Okay. But in here, so in PHP 8, we should have no errors. And this is I want to know some of the magic PHPStan Storm uses in the background. Like it knows I wanted that file. I guess maybe because it's open. So just assume like this file is open and rank it higher in the autocomplete list. All right. So there's the failing test. And now we figure it out. Which should be a blast. So let's go up to the top. This is a rule test case. Call the function rule parameters, which comes from function call parameter check. And okay, so we have the rule helper. Check extra arguments to check type hint. Reflection provider. There's checker. This check is the function call parameters check, so that's the delegator. So you have the rule. This basically finds the function name, and then gets it passes it to the check here. Check. I can't stop saying that now. All right, let's debug. Not run with coverage. Stop. Let's run debug. All right, function call. The name is CallUserFunc array, and the args. We have two args. One is the function, and the other is an array. Great. So this is where we want to be. For each parameter's acceptors, so the parameter, dummy parameter, is named callback. And the other parameter is args. All right, so we're here. Arguments, function call get args. So we now have the actual arguments here. Has named arguments is false. Has unpacked errors. For each as I type. That's a string. Has named arguments. That never changes. What? When is has named argument? Oh, down there. Okay. Unpacked. argument name. Okay, so unpack arguments. We go down. All right, so arguments is our array of data here. Has named arguments and supports named arguments. Not has named arguments. Invoked parameter count for each arguments as argument value, value type, unpack, and argument name. We have no unpacked. All right. So that skipped over mismatched. Okay, so that skipped over mismatched parameters. Scope, get type. The function calls instance of void type. It is not a void. Correct. All right, so here this looks promising. Added errors argument with parameters is process arguments. Excuse me. So process arguments, I'm going to drop a error here. So params acceptors, parameters, dummy parameter callback, and args type is array type, passed by reference, default value. So somewhere in here, we have to figure out where the method structure comes from, and that's where there's somewhere it does. It's already been passed. Named arguments. Actually, I don't think there's any errors here. Added errors is 0, 0. Argument with parameters. Okay, that's fine. So let's drop a breakpoint here. Parameter is null. Parameter type. There's no error there. Check arguments passed by reference. Okay, recent are prioritized by type. That seems to be appropriate. Oh man, there's the error. All right. So let's see. Message sprint F. Okay, so here's where the error gets hit. So I'm gonna drop a breakpoint here. So this check argument types. Parameter description. Yeah, let's see. Parameter description args. Okay. So check argument types is true. Parameter passed by reference creates new variable is false or is okay. So rule level helper accepts. So this is where the error happens. So bloop, bloop, bloop. Let's refresh it. Let's play. Okay. Accepting type is okay, we're gonna skip over that and go next one. Okay, so accepted type is a constant array type. Strict types is false. Somewhere in here this fails. Accepts. Man, all this is whoa, how does that fail? Errors. Error 3. So somehow this is where it breaks, and I don't have a single idea how to figure this out. I feel like let's see. Null types. This is reflection provider. Like there's a signature mapping. I feel like that might be it. Okay, so now we're on argument value as an array. So, right. Let's check nullables. Accepting type is an array type, so that should be skipped over. So accepting type. So so the accepting type is an array, and the accepted type is an array type. So we got to step into here. Okay. Here it is. So inside array type, if it's a constant array type, okay. So this is where part of the logic is. So type is constant array type. Result, create yes. This key type is integer type. Excuse me. So this is where the problem lies. So this key type and the array type is key type. Could be, it needs to be mixed. So array type, this is in the accepting type. So accepts parameter type, and we resolve that parameter get type. Parameter for each parameter's acceptors. Check. Oh my goodness. All right. So the check with the parameter acceptors, select from args. Types here. Variant. All right. So it has nothing to do down here. So it's working. The thing is that we need this key type to equal mixed in PHP 8 because it can be an int or it can be string. It accepts both. So let's just put a breakpoint there, debug it. So select from args. I'm going to actually, this check, call like get args, variants, this. So this right here, I think is the problem is we need to update the type, array type, key type. Oh, you know what? There it is. This variance. So construct, what constructs this? Process node, function get variance, function reflection. There we go. Let's debug. So the reflection we're getting back. So step through, provider get function. This provider has function. Has is true. Has single reflection instead of file. Provider get function. Function name. Blah. Okay. So now we need to do a breakpoint where lowercase function name is equal to CallUserFunc array. All right, so native reflection, find. I'm going to put a breakpoint here as well. So what is it? Function name equal to Kufa. So if it's set to function map, signature, yeah, here we go. Return true. Get signature. If not array key exists, PHP stub maps, stub map functions. Oh no, what did I do? I just froze it. This, I'm guessing that's a big array. Oh, it sure is. So if PHP 8 stub maps, if variant is greater than 0, has function map signature map, call user func array mixed. All right, so we just need to now go to get signature map, delta, PHP 8 delta. So I have a feeling we just got to do a stop this. Let's close some of these files so I can get my sanity. Nothing there. So function map. Big old file. All user func array. Now, let's look here. So what it should be is it's a mixed. Hold on. So mixed callable. Call user method. Method name, string, object, parameter. There's a way to define variance in this. Like when something supports multiple ways of calling it. New, old. I guess why don't we just, yeah, it's new. It's not different. It's we'll add it here, and it supports mixed. I think that would do it. Let's just play. Hey, it worked. Woohoo! Actually, it's not mixed. It's int or string. And let's go to php.net, search php.net. That's not. Call UserFunc array. Ooh. So args. This doesn't have a using namespace. Lambda functions by reference, named. Using PHP 8, using call named arguments if the array with keys is passed to args. The array only has values. Arguments are passed positionally. Let's do. Okay, so I guess that the proper fix is not mixed, but to say it's an int and string. And if we press play, there we go. So that's step one. So let's push this up. Resources, delta, we add call user function array. Data, call user func. And add a test. PHP 8. What do we want to call PHP 8. PHP 8 signature map update for call user func array to support named arguments. I honestly don't. Is there a commit? There's like a commit message format that they follow. Do not. I'm horrible at short commit messages. So let's see. Undefined. Call user func array. PHP support named arguments. There we go. I'm just going to call it that. So let's push it. Do GitHub PR create. Submit it. All right, well. Edit. So fixes that issue. Note this only updates the signature map to allow named arguments, but does not inspect, does not have a rule to verify the arguments match the parameters of the called methods, called function or method. That can go here or as a follow up. Right now, PHPStan just returns an error when using named methods. Named parameters, is that what we want to call it? Yeah, named parameters. All right, so wait, something failed? Come on now. All right, why did it fail? What did I possibly do to cause a test failure? Linting, of course. Call to function parameter rule test. What did I do? Line 9. I know there's a shortcut. Oh, go to line, Command L. Thank goodness. 911. Oh, empty array. That's why. Right. Empty array declaration must have no space between the parentheses. That's a bracket. Multi-line arrays must have a trailing comma after the last. Yep, so that's. I'm going to do a force push. Get add tests. rm PHP unit. Get rid of that. Status get amend. File get push F. Excuse me. No, so shift launches the file. Oh wait. So one thing I know, you see, you could give the file name and put a line number after, and it will bring you to that line number. So this is actually a pretty nifty thing to have, but I couldn't remember what it was to actually launch the go to line column. I took some screenshots about that, because maybe I'll write a quick little helper blog post that says, hey, need to get to a file in a specific line in one go? You can with PHP Storm. All right, let's go back to this pull request now that I did a force push. Oh, go to line. Oh, yeah, go to. Oh, wait. Shift. Go to line. Lines, Laravel. It's not for me. It's not showing that. It's saying go to file, scripts directory, go to type, go to nth, and to the index of PHP unit test. Others. So I forgot that you can go in here and it's like, so if I type xdebug, it can load all the specific preferences as well. It's the super finder. All right, so that's 10 checks. Break. So be this to the PHP 8.0 delta. It allows int string with mixed. I know there's the run everything. Oh wait, that's the. Oh, that's search everywhere. Run anything. Oh, that ran a command line. All right, so I'm going to start experimenting with a rule that inspects CallUserFunc Array. Maybe. And tries to what do you want to say? What does it do? What is it going to do? It's going to inspect it's going to compare the parameters. So let's see, we need to make a new rule, which is going to be very similar to the call to function parameters rule, because it's going to do a function call parameter check on the method from the first argument. So I think this might be hopefully fairly easy to do. I love how that's usually what I say, and then it never is. So let's go to source, rules, functions. Let's do, what is this called? Call to function parameter rule. It's just, I guess, just call user function rule. We'll do call user function rule. Is where we will start. All right, call user function array rule. I'm just going to start there. So I do PHP, declare strict types. Time to copy and paste some namespacing stuff. So class, call user function array, implements rule. And we copy this template to top. So let's see. Add stubs, get node type. The node type is a func call. Process node, we'll just do function not found. There's the actual error. All right, so call the non-existent function. So we need the checker. Actually, yeah, we need the reflection provider and the checker, because we're not calling it on ourselves. We're going to call it on the first parameter. Wait, does this now actually have 7.4? Okay. So if it doesn't have the function, wait, that's not what we want. Printf parameters rule. Let's just copy this here. So if name is not equal to call user func array, return an empty array because it is not what we want. So there's that. So we want to get the args equals node get args. That's no node. This has function. How come in here it's type hinted appropriately to node, but here it's all happy and I guess, yeah, it's there. So we get the args. And we need to just pause there for a second. Let's create a new test. So file call user function rule. Hey, that's not, this is horribly named. So it's call user func array rule. That makes more sense. And new file test.php. Just copy this top part. And even a little bit more. So call user func array test. call the function parameter rule. So get rule, I'm going to copy the get rule and call user array rule, the reflection provider, the broker. We don't need it. It's just, oh, never mind. And then just public function test rule. This analyze errors. Let's see. Guess we'll do the same concept if it's PHP 8 or no, we'll just do that. We're going to say that there's no errors to start and just roll with it, because this way I can run the test and see what happens. So call CallUserFunc array rule. Name. Let's do it. Let's debug. Did not put a undefined property. Oh, this yeah. Let's just do false. I don't. And make sure I have a breakpoint. Okay, let's run it. All right, skip a lot of these older breakpoints because they're not needed anymore. So args 1, we got to unpack the value. Is there an easy way? Attributes, parameters. Let's just see. All right, that's the test. Darn it. So call parameter function rules. So this check. Oh no. Let's do select from args. Here's the args. So that's 1 count 2. We need to check. So if args is not equal to 2, return an error, because something else is going to handle that if it's the incorrect arguments. So arg0 get parent. I want to see about value. Filter scope get type arg value. Right, arg type select from types. That doesn't break apart the value. Let's see. Let's do args0 value. Reroll it. Oh, darn it. That's a count. So if count is not equal to 2, we bail because it should be equal to that. Otherwise, it's going to report by a different rule. What? So count args. Type, okay. Constant string type. Excuse me. So let's see. Type get so type is going to return constant string type. So say if type instance of constant string type get Get value, it's just the value. Describe self is callable. Reflection provider. I guess I just need to not do. So we get the type. So let's just call this the callable. It's there, and then we would do reflection equals this reflection provider get has function callable. There. Get name. Type as a name, right? Value. Oh, is it constant string type? Value. Get value. Get value. Why is that not coming up as a valid method? Has function node name. Oh, that's why. Get function. Shoot. This is not the reflection provider that I need. So get has function. Shoot. Has function. Get function. Name node. Values and expression, and then we get the what is it? Constant array type has method. So find type and method. Let's callable. Find get method. No, it's not a method. It's a so if callable instance of string constant or constant string type property get constant. Why value describe is super of no is callable get callable parameter acceptors. Function name has function. All right, let's try that. Scope params. Let's just start here. So that's the params. Else if callable instance of constant array type be callable find type method name type get callables scope. And I don't know what we would do here. Throw new did not happen exception. Or is this a function not found error? Technically. All right, so find method type and name. I'm just gonna step over this and see if this works. I'm gonna restart it since okay, it's just off a little bit. A lot of bit. So callable params. Okay, so the parameters, function variant, parameters of Wait. The callable is array merge. All right, and the parameters are type array type, mix type. So let's call this the callable param, callable acceptable, callable acceptables, and we'll call this params equals scope get type args0 or args1 value. That doesn't seem completely right. Call the function parameter rules. So maybe I'm going to try to replicate this a little bit more. So let's just blow this away. And actually, no, we're not going to completely blow it away because get callable from the string type. Somewhere in here, it does new name, function name. Okay, here we go. Although this gives us what we need. This gives us the parameter acceptors. All right, so actually, we want this. We do want this. And then we'll do, let's just do test, this, check, params. Nope. Callable params. Callable acceptors. The scope. Excuse me. Built-in. Callable. Oh. Callable is empty, is clonable, is at least once, is super of. Is built in equals callable. How do I know this? Function is built in is a bool on the function reflection, and I don't have access to the function. Constant string type is class string. Describe is super of is callable. Array type. Matches. Returns the variance. What's the to number, to integer, to float? Is numeric string, it's literal string. Get offset value, append, generalize, smaller type. Set state. Well, shoot. I need the, let's just say false for now. We'll just start there, is built in, and the func call is the node. Shoot. Func call could be func call, method call, static call, new. Oh man. me. So let's see, we'll say check node equals new func call, new name. I feel like I'm just duplicating stuff over, but let's do callable, get value, and then the args would be not that. Callable acceptables is an array of not what needs to be passed in. So params is an expression and we need to pass this check node in. So check, and then messages, which now we're copying in a whole bunch of this. So what if we I'm just going to copy these error messages. And the function name equals callable get name, get value. Not even in there because it needs to go in here. Get value. Type. So we get the function name, but the check node is incorrect because we need, so we have the callable acceptables from the function. We have the scope built in, can't figure out, I'm gonna make a to do, find out if this is. And then we have to recreate the actual node itself. So we'll do check node equals new method call. Ooh, that's one problem too. Did I pick the wrong? No. Let's make sure this is all correct. The variables and expressions. So this is the hard part where we have to recreate nodes, pass this into the checker, and I don't know. Function called parameter check. I don't want to have to we'd have to like recreate all of this. Unless I'm overthinking it. And we don't need to have return the same. Error. Well, no, we can have these errors, but it could say like CallUserFunc array. We can do that. The problem is that we have callable acceptables. And we have the function name, check node. We need the function call to the name. And then we need the arguments, which would be array map static function where the value is args1 value. Nope. Just I'm gonna pop a breakpoint here and see like a ghost breakpoint. So args1 is an array of items. So we'll say callable, or we'll call it the param args equals args1 value, and if param args is not an instance of array, throw new return. Okay, so if it's not an array, we can bail out because it's not a valid. Okay, so yeah, we can return if it's not a valid value, we can bail out. Same with. All right, I'll clean some of this up later as I go. I want to just start proofing through. All right, so we got function name, and we know param args is an array. So if we did array map static function on param args, which we know is an array, and we did it on its items. There we go. So items, so args, param args items, array item. So we could have it be, this value is array item, we call it item, and we return new arg item. So the value, but it's not, yeah, it keeps the same key. I have no idea if this would work. This might be completely broken. So test node, let's just look at the test node, or the check node, function call to array merge with the arguments of an array item. That's not right, because array foo, we gotta fix that. That's not going to be correct. So new node arg is value ref identifier. Okay, so if item key is instance of string, then the name equals new name item key, the value foo, else the name is equal to is null. So that's one thing we need to handle named arguments. So it's the value We're going to say by reference is false because we have no idea of knowing, and I'm assuming not. It's not to be unpacked. There's no attributes. Oh, attributes is an array. And then the identifier is the name. And that would give us the named attributes or named arguments. So let's rerun this. Callable function name T. Oh man, type error. Node arg construct must be of type node identifier, node name given. So let's fix that. It's my bad. I wasn't paying attention. So it's identifier, which is string, and empty attributes. All right, so check node is name is array merge. The arguments, we've got name of foo, so it's a named item with array. T, oh man. Argument 1 must be of type parameter acceptor, array given. Oh, it's an array of, okay. So get acceptors, play, callable acceptable, function variant. Well, what does this usually do when there's return select from args? What does this do? Select from types? Come on now. Generic parameter acceptor resolve. I'm just going to return the 0 at the end. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but the whole point is like I want to get something basic in here. So let's so that's one bad thing, is there should have been an error because array merge doesn't accept named arguments. Yeah, array merge has no named arguments in it. So let's hit play. Let's check. So array merge, wait, oh no. Array merge allows multiple arguments, doesn't it? Max count, yeah. Parameter, native reflection, arrays. Yeah, so it's an array of arrays. Can merge in. So args, we've got node arg name. Named argument cannot be followed by an unpacked. Unpacked argument cannot be followed by a non-unpacked argument. This is not packed. Has named argument. Argument name is foo. All right, so we're trying to pass the named argument of foo. Oh, wait a second. Test. Return 0. That's not what I was hoping for. I was expecting there to be some kind of error. So step in. Just go. I'm gonna step over real quick. I know I have to end the stream soon. I just want to see. So it has a named argument. So arguments. We have a named argument of foo that passes an array. And technically, it should not has named argument, and PHP version supports named arguments. It supports named arguments. Added errors, but it doesn't support array merge doesn't support named parameters. So I imagine that should be a problem. Accepts accepted type. Continue. Errors is empty. Oh, maybe it would help if I actually check something on here. So it'd be like array merge. Be like that. Actually, I have no idea how you do named arguments in PHP 8. Oh, yeah. Array merge does not accept unknown name parameters. Does not accept. Oh, invoked. Oh, wait a second. I'm in the wrong. It would be array, but that's the main thing is we want to report. So arrays. Yeah, so I don't think array merge has that, but does not accept unknown named parameters. Does not accept. Hold on a minute. Argument count. I was going to also add a rule for verifying, sorry, the function parameters here. I think a good first step would be just getting the PHP 8 signature map updated. Does PHPStan check for, what was that error? Accepting unknown named parameters. I started going down the rabbit hole for checking this, but I realized that, what is that? Function call parameter. There's check name. All right, let's look at this. So errors, right? Named argument cannot follow positional. Argument for parameter has already been passed. Has named argument unused. Errors missing parameter. Named already occurred. Unknown parameter message. Oh, here he is. Here we go. This should have been. Let's drop a breakpoint here before I send that comment. So if argument name is not equal to null, it is not. Else unknown parameter message. Here we go. So parameter count. So if it's not variadic, oh, but it is. Excuse me. So the parameter acceptor is variadic, and the parameter count is not less than or equal to 0. What would that be? Or is built in. So is a built-in. Ah, there we go. All right, built-in methods do not have. So I'm going to delete. I can get the rule pushed to the PR if you want to do it all at once. All right, so that's that. True. If I change this to true, because it's a built-in method, we get an error that says unknown parameter foo in call array merge. Great, there it goes. So let's see, get callable parameters or constant string type get reflection provider has function name. We do that here. No, we don't. It is built in. I wish we could just reflection has method is built in equals this reflection provider get function. This is absolutely the wrong way to do this, but I'm just hacking some stuff in at the moment. So function name, excuse me. Scope. So let's just plop that in, and we'll just say that this is false. I don't know, but if I run it, that means we're actually getting. So this is not working. But I'm gonna wait to push it until I hear back. All right. So this was actually pretty productive that we were able to get CallUserFunc Array and start inspecting the parameters that are passed to it. We could do one where it's just there. We should only get one error. Oh no. All right, so it's definitely not perfect because this shouldn't error. This should be, oh wait, no, this should be an array of values. Okay, we're green. Awesome. I'm going to pause it here. In fact, I'm just going to make a commit. Whip commit, do not push. I'm going to commit that so I don't lose it next week. And thanks for hanging out. And thanks to Esteemed for sponsoring my Wednesday contributions to PHPStan. See you later.